So you all know I wanted to be a BMX racer chick. I made that decision at the beginning of the year, and it seemed just ridiculous to me at the time I made the decision. It was scary as hell, but I made the decision. That's where it starts. And then I just started figuring out what it was going to take. And the more I started doing that, the more magic started happening for me. And I've had the most fun with this. It's just like I've meant to do this. If you were to talk to Kevin, he would tell you it's just a new fire is inside of me. And, you know, I so blessed. It wasn't long enough in my opinion, but so blessed to have been coached early on by the #1 guy in the world. And, you know, I may not have had him that long as my coach, but I had him long enough to learn probably the most important thing he taught to his racers. He taught it to me the night before he disappeared. And you want to know what it is? It works for everything. He taught me about visualization. And it's not that I didn't know about visualization, but hearing it from Scott gave it a whole new spin. And here's a man that taught a bunch of guys to be world champions. And he's inspired many. If you just, go to his Facebook wall and look at all the people he's inspired and the tributes and everything. And I've just been dissecting all of this and trying to figure out the magic of what he does and what he taught me on visualization would apply to your businesses easily. It applies to everything in life. And the power of focus. And really seeing in your mind's eye exactly what you want and then not letting any distractions get in. And I had to apply this principle in ways that just were mind-boggling. I mean, this weekend I was challenged on this principle more than any time in my life. And let me explain. So here's the track. And it is shorter than I'm used to here in Phoenix. Phoenix is about 1,100 feet. This is 700 feet. So I've been really conditioned. This is going to be a lot easier than what I was used to from a distance standpoint. But, I remembered what Scott told me about visualizing and every little detail, seeing it in my mind's eye over and over and over again, what I wanted to do, seeing me pass people, seeing me fly in front of people, seeing me hit the obstacles just right. Over and over again in my mind's eye. This is what he taught me. And I've heard these things before. This is nothing new. You hear about athletes. He told me he was taught this method by Jack Nicholson, right? I hope that's right. I keep getting him and the actor mixed up, the golfer. And, Jack would practice golfing in his mind before he ever went out on the green. And so I am here now without my coach, remembering what he taught me. And I studied this track from the stands. Kevin and I sat and I watched this track for hours while other people were out there. And I counted every bump. In my mind, I kept going through it over and over again. 1, 2, if you look at the bumps, I still have it in my brain. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. And I went through that. I've probably raced this track in my mind 300 times. 300 times before I got out on it for my race. So, as a result, here I am, just being really on the bike for a couple months now, winning second place in the Nationals, BMX Nationals, and really unbelievable. And my coach was there really with me. There were tributes to him there, area that was just all about him. And then they played a video in the middle, right before the main event. They played a video about him, and I'm really glad I didn't see that. I was backstaging, but it would have been a little emotional for me to see that while I was trying to focus. But you see, this was all about setting goals and making the steps and visualizing and focusing. Really crazy. Now let me show you something that is unbelievable here. So we arrived, and Kevin and I got there in time for me to go out and practice and make about 3. They only give you 20 minutes per age group really to go out and practice. And when I practiced that morning, I was out there with the pro guys, 31 and over, no matter pro, amateur, what. I had guys that were flying around me, a little intimidating. But I at least got, I think, 4 rounds in, so I could just get the feel of the track. That's all I wanted to do. My first moto wasn't until around noon. And you can see, actually, you can see that peak there when I actually raced, okay? You can see my warm-up right before there, and then boom, my race is very obvious, right? So I won my first moto. I didn't have to do a second moto because I came in second on the first moto. So I had time, a few hours there, to relax a little bit and just kind of watch the races. But then my heart rate still stayed up because of the excitement. So around 4:30, I thought it was time for me to head back to staging. And I wanted to go back there and go back into the area to warm up on a flat track and just keep my mind focused on nothing but the over and over and over again of the track in my mind. I figured I had about a half hour. Well, we didn't understand how these things worked. This was our first one. So what was supposed to be in my mind a half hour turned into almost 2 hours, where I was staging and I couldn't really leave once I was there, and I was just doing laps, and I was in my mind staying completely in focus on the track over and over and over again, visualizing victory, visualizing each bump, visualizing, being ahead of as many people as I could, every little bit of it. And I suddenly realized that I had miscalculated and my race wasn't going to be for a while. But I just stayed out there, and you can see I just pedaled and pedaled and pedaled and visualized and visualized and visualized in the back flat track there. My race was here. Now, do you notice something? I raced the fastest I've ever raced in my life. 4 feet a second faster than I've ever raced. And you do not see a spike there. And why do you not see a spike there? Because I'd already raced it in my mind hundreds of times. And that is the power of visualization. I was already there.